one of the great things about it, about Pops, is the tours. I absolutely love the tours. And one of the things we did, well, John Williams, you know, it's a great guy. I'll share this little tidbit with you. He and I have nicknames for each other. I'm actually on a first name basis with John Williams. I call him Maestro. And there's a little bit of a wry joke in there because he's really a composer and piano player, and he was, other than his own music, he was never that, you know, he just kind of, you know, he was new to it. It wasn't, because he knew people had gone to conservatory their whole lives, and here he is, now the most famous conductor in the world. But this is, my other book, Principles of Applied Stupidity, explains this. You're much better off not knowing what you're doing. It actually makes you more appealing. But anyway, and he calls me La Voce. He loved the sound, the tone of my voice for some reason. This is the biggest compliment I've ever had in my life. The John Williams would call me La Voce. But anyway, you know, he's big stuff. Star Wars is big stuff. And so these promoters in Japan came to Boston, and they saw John Williams and the Boston Pops and said, hey, this will be great. Let's bring this Boston Pops and John Williams to Japan. Now, I have to interject something here. There's a tradition at Pops in the bass section. Do any of you remember John Barwicki? Are you enough of a symphony follower? There was this crazy guy in the symphony. Just to give you a sense of this, when the symphony goes out to Tanglewood, they get per diem, a massive per diem to pay for all their rent. They have to rent someplace to live for 2 months out there, plus buy all the food. And they get this massive check to pay for a rental of a cabin for the full summer out in Lenox. Well, John Barwicki got the check, but he pitched a tent down by the Stockbridge Bowl, you know, where they swim. He would just go down there. He camped out all summer for free. And kept the money, you know. This is the kind of stuff this guy would do. I loved him dearly. And he developed this whole concept of spinning the basses, twirling the basses at very specific points and very specific pieces. And St. Louis Blues March, there's this big recapitulation of the melody. And you know, on the 8 bars before that, you spin 7 basses. The crowd just goes nuts, you know, and we were doing this stuff all the night. And we're really fooling around heavily in the hall. You know, we had all kinds of stuff. So we go to Japan, and I'm really excited because I have become the de facto Barwicki of the Boston Pops Esplanade Orchestra. There were actually 2 Pops orchestras. I didn't make that clear before. So I just sort of fell into, I'm the guy who decides when we're going to twirl the basses and how and whether or not we're going to do it or not. So we get to Japan, and I'm psyched. I'm psyched. I'm going to do some serious bass twirling, you know, on the Pacific Rim. I am just ready to go. And I open up the folder. Oh, well, it's interesting. This Encore has no bass spin in it. It's unusual because most of them do. I turn it over. I don't know what the program is until we get there. No bass spin in this either. No bass spin, no bass spin, no bass spin, no bass spin. Hey! This has never happened before. There's an entire 3rd section of the concert with no pieces that have a bass spin in it. And I'm thinking, that's statistically almost impossible. And then it dawned on me, John Williams, great guy, love him to death, but hey, we're in Japan, it's polite culture, you can do that stuff in Symphony Hall, but you know, and it was masterful. This guy is masterful. It was so tactful. It was so sweet. He didn't say, Justin, don't twirl the basses. He didn't do that. He just removed all the pieces in which I might twirl. So it was just not going to be a confrontation. I mean, that's it. You know, okay, and I got the message. I figured it out. He doesn't want us twirling the basses in Japan. Okay, I'm going to go have some sake and, you know, mourn the loss and, you know, whatever. So play the first night, and there's no bass spins. Play the second night, Suntory Hall. It's a lovely concert. No bass spins. And I should mention, if you ever watched Japanese sports, you know, baseball, or tennis. It's like tennis matches. Everything's like a tennis match. Shh. You know, it's the bottom of the 9th. The bases are loaded. Shh. Here comes the bench. You know, it's like Easter Island. They're so polite. They're very quiet. And these audiences would file in. It was like playing for the statues on Easter Island. They just sat there. Stone face. I mean, they were polite, but they were just so quiet. It just really stayed. It was kind of bizarre. I mean, because of Boston audiences, we have to yell at you to shut up so we can play Adagio for strings, you know? So Okay, there's a couple of nights of this, and we're getting used to it. Okay, it's just a very staid crowd. So the third night, I'm backstage, Suntory Hall. I don't know what the hall it was. They're all the same backstage. And, well, this is a public figure. I won't mention names because it's on TV. But the press office lady of the symphony at the time. This is big medicine. This is like the number 3 person in the power hierarchy of the symphony. Not someone I even make eye contact with, because I'm not worthy. This is not someone I talk to. I'm not, I don't exist in her eyes. I'm just bass playing meat, She comes up, I'm all by myself, just minding my own business. And she is a very powerful presence person, She makes strong men tremble. And she goes, first time she'd ever spoken to me in her life, she said, "Justin!" What? What? The basses aren't spinning. I couldn't, I'm trying to speak. I couldn't think of a thing. Just, the tour's in trouble. The promoters are upset. What the hell's going on with you? And I said, well, you see, there's no pieces for us to, the promoters are upset. What are you doing? What's going on? And she's just going on, just unloading on me. I mean, she's polite and she's a very classy lady, but she was obviously very upset. And she knew who was in charge of the bass spins, which is me. And it's not in my contract. It's just something I did, which I thought I would get fired for doing. I never thought I'd get fired for not doing it. This made no sense. You're not fooling around enough. You're not causing enough trouble. You're not drawing enough attention to yourself. Help me. So I'm standing there, I'm trying to reason with her and tell her there's no pieces for us to spin to. And she said, the basses aren't spinning, the promoters are upset, the tour, got all these problems, and she just kind of walked away, raving. Left me backstage. Have you ever been in those situations where there's no right answer? So I'm thinking, I said, well, John Williams never actually said to not spin the basses. I never got an actual command to not spin them. So I went over the folder, and I had never choreographed or selected a bass spin spot. Barwicki had found them all. There were so many of them. I was not worthy. I'm just a freelance guy. So I start going through the encores, and I'm looking for a musically appropriate spot where you could spin a bass. And sure enough, 76 trombones. There's a big recapitulation. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da, boom, beam, 76. And right before that, in that lead, in the 8 bars before, you twirl basses and stop right on the 76, like that. So the concert's coming like 15 minutes before. I gather all the bass players around. I said, gather around, gather around. We got to spin the basses tonight. I marked it in all the parts, start here, stop there. You got to be really specific with musicians, otherwise they won't do anything. I went over to the percussionists and I said, hey, I'm doing this bass spin tonight. Can you dress it up a little bit, a little add a percussion in that thing? They're happy to oblige. Percussionists are happy to do anything that involves making more noise. Happy to do it, Justin. Oh yeah, happy to do it. Anyway, Justin did. Justin told us to do it. So, okay, so we're in, and bear in mind, this audience of stone-faced individuals is out there watching, observing us play these boisterous pieces. And John Williams is up there, the John Williams. I mean, this guy is like a god in the world of orchestra, movie, music. I mean, he'll be famous for 500 years. There's no one like him. He's amazing. He's up there. Sweetheart of a guy. We're playing 76 trombones. I see the mark coming. There's this butterfly moment when these things come up. You just don't know if it's going to work. You don't know. And I didn't want to spin because the crowd has been so dead every night. If they're not kind of in the mood, if the fire hasn't already started, you don't want to throw more gas on it because it might do nothing. But, okay, let's go. And we get to the point, I yell out, ready and all 7 basses spin around for 8 beats like this, and we get a perfect stop right on the 76 trombones. This audience, which has been sitting there, just stone-faced for the last hour and 47 minutes, goes ape. They jump up, they point, they scream, they're yelling. It's all in Japanese, I don't know what they're saying. And it's just an uproar like this. And I look off stage, and here's the press office lady and the Japanese promoters, and they're all going, hi, 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 hi. They're all kissy-faced, they're all very, very happy. And I'm out on stage. I got to finish playing this piece. And John Williams, the John Williams, is conducting away looking right at me. Because he knows, everybody, it's like a submarine orchestra. Everybody knows everybody's business. He knows I'm the guy who did this. And, he tried to stop me, and he had this beautiful look on his face, like, what am I going to do with you? I give up. Because there's nothing he could, the crowd just loved it. The promoters loved it. So that's my Japan story.